And I'm going to keep these right next to me. Another one that I pulled this morning was a card that is called Spiritual Sovereignty, which sounds like a lot when you say the word spiritual sovereignty. But the idea comes down to basically accepting everything all the time. I'm going to take my socks off because I don't really do yoga with socks on most of the time. But yeah, the idea of radical acceptance. So let's come down to a seat on our mat to start out. And welcome again. My name is Kara. Thank you for coming. So we're going to do a practice today, focusing, as we talked a bit about earlier, on the theme of loving compassion, which applies in a lot of ways. So let's start with a seat and we can talk about that. And just find your comfortable seat. You can have your legs extended, have your legs crossed, sit up in a chair, up on a pillow, on a block. And the first thing that I want to do is just begin to be aware of your breathing. Sort of feel how it's coming in and out of your body. And with both of these concepts, loving compassion and spiritual sovereignty is the second one. So when it comes to loving compassion, that is the idea, of course, of always having compassion for everything, including yourself. Wherever you're at right now, and just having compassion and understanding and saying that's okay. So we're going to do that with our bodies today as we practice. And the second part of that, as we tune in with our breathing a little bit and just sit up tall, the spiritual sovereignty mostly comes down to the idea of non-judgment or non-polarizing judgment, and getting away from the idea that anything we do is good or bad, and understanding that we just sort of exist and we're just doing our best most days, and so are other people. And learning to give up any resistance we might have to certain circumstances, just sort of accept and have compassion. So those are the two things we're going to really focus on today as we move into our practice. This can be really helpful when applied to the body. So let's start by grounding into the sit bones. Wherever you are in your seated position, sit up a little taller. Take a nice deep breath. And what we'll do first is go ahead and face the long end of your mat. So you want to be facing long ways on the mat. And we're going to start with a couple of twists. Just get some energy flowing in the spine. So we're going to extend your legs nice and long, sit up tall. Take a second to find your comfortable seated position with the legs extended. And then we'll go ahead and lift the left knee. So keep the right leg extended, lift the left knee, press the left foot down to the earth. We're going to take a nice deep breath, reach the arms up. And then bring the arms down and slowly just twist open to the left so that your right arm eventually comes to the outside of the left leg. And the left hand can come behind you to the ground. We're just twisting gently to the left. So take just one moment to get centered in that twist. Make sure that it feels good for yourself. And really, you can ground into the right leg. Press that right thigh, right heel into the ground. And push into your left foot as well. Sit up tall. Bring your attention back to the breath. Again, we're not judging the breath, not judging your posture, just staying with it, sitting up tall. Let's go ahead and breathe in and then exhale and slowly unwind. Come back to center. Let your arms just rest by your sides. We'll extend that left leg out. Sit up nice and tall again, just ground through the sit bones. Relax your shoulders as you breathe out. Take a nice deep breath in. And we'll bring that right knee up. Bring the arms up on your inhale, and then twist open to the right. Left arm comes outside the left leg. Right hand behind you to the mat. Sit up tall, take a deep breath. Just settle into this twist for a moment. Let your breath help you build that awareness. So as you're breathing in, see what you feel. And as you breathe out, relax into it a little bit. Just practicing awareness here. Seeing what we feel when we hold these poses. Bringing your breath in nice and slowly, maybe breathing through the nostrils. Sitting up tall and then exhaling, settling into your twist, grounding through the legs and feet. And then let's exhale and we'll come back through center. Again, go ahead and relax the arms for a moment. Extend your legs long. Stay in this extended leg pose now, so both legs extended straight out in front of you. We're going to ground through your hips. Sit up tall. Extend through the crown of your head. Take a nice deep breath. Reach the arms up. Bring the elbows down to about 90 degrees, cactus arms. And we're going to spread the fingertips wide. Breathe in here. And exhale, release the arms back to your mat. Then once more, inhale, reach up, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, we're going to slowly fold forward over your legs. So we're just going to go as far as you feel comfortable. Bring your hands to your shins. You can also just bring your hands a little more to your ankles or to your toes if you want to stretch out a bit. Stay with your breath here. Just breathe in. Try and keep some of that length in your spine. And breathe out. Again, if you're just gently folding over your legs, the hands on the shins, that's great. We want to remember that whatever we end up doing in today's practice, as long as we're being safe and comfortable in the body, then we're doing a great job. Let's take one more deep breath in. Exhale, and let's come back up. Sit up tall in that extended legs pose. And then just go ahead and cross your legs briefly. Bring your hands to the mat in front of you. Sort of roll through. We're going to come up onto the hands and knees here for a tabletop pose. So you can spread your fingers wide, planting the palms nice and strong. Strong in the legs as well. Maybe pointing your toes and pressing the feet into the tops of your mat to really lift you up off the mat. Nice and active. We'll do a few breaths here. You can do a cat-cow if you like, so that means you drop your belly as you breathe in. Let gravity help you fill up that belly with air, and then exhale, arch your back, tuck the low ribs. Inhale, drop. And exhale, arch the back. We'll do one more like that. Breathe in. And exhale, arch. And then from our tabletop, let's just kind of sink back, walk the hands back. We're going to head into a kneeling pose here, so you can curl the toes under, come up high onto the knees. And try to stay kind of active in your legs and in your hips here, so we're not necessarily just sitting on the heels. We're kind of actually staying active in this kneeling pose, lifting up. And then let's just go ahead and sit up all the way. So we're lifting the hips, And sitting nice and tall in a kneeling pose. And for this next one, we're going to come to a low crescent lunge. So stay with your breath. Make sure you keep that even inhale and exhale. We'll keep the left knee on the ground. Bring the right foot out in front of you. You can use a hand on the earth to stabilize as you make this transition if you need. So you're bringing the right foot out in front of you. Find as much space as you need. Have that left knee planted, right foot planted. Right now, your fingertips can be outside of your right foot on the mat. If you do have blocks or thick books or other props you like to use when you do yoga, one way you could incorporate those, if you wanted to grab your blocks and bring them on either side of your foot, that could give you a little more height for these next few poses we're going to head into. So we're in a runner stretch right now, really stretching out those legs, grounding through the quads. Inhale, squeeze your thighs in. Exhale, tuck the low ribs. Find that core strength, extend the crown of your head. And then on our next inhale, we're going to slowly just lift up with the hands and lift up with the torso. Coming up into our low crescent lunge. Right foot planted, knee at 90 degrees. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling nice and controlled. And then drop the hands, sink the hips back. And you can bring your hands again, fingertips to the mat, or if you have those blocks, either side of your leg. We're going to sink the hips back towards the left foot. Extend the right foot. Stay active in the right heel. We're flexing the right foot. You can keep a soft bend in your knee, in the right knee. Take a nice deep breath in. Take note of what you feel in this pose. This is called a half splits pose. So working the thighs, stretching out the whole hip architecture. And stay as high as you want here. There's no need to get super low. You can just keep your gaze nice and relaxed, low on the mat in front of you, or looking straight down at the mat. Just breathe into your leg here, and then we'll take a nice deep breath, maybe sink a little lower. Come back up onto the right foot, so we're planting the foot. And then maybe move your blocks out of your way, fingertips come back to the earth. Bring that right knee back to meet the left knee. We'll return to our tabletop pose here. Take a deep breath, maybe dropping the belly and arching the back as you exhale. And then just to get a little counter motion to that, we're going to do a threading the needle, nice little twist. So we'll plant the right hand, both knees are on the ground right now. You can curl the toes under. Lift the left hand off the mat, draw it up across your chest, twist open to the left, reach towards the sky with that left hand. And then exhale, bring the left hand back down underneath your body through the right arm. And you can bring the left shoulder all the way down to the mat. Take a nice deep breath here, threading the needle. Stabilizing with the right hand, keeping the hips high. Breathing into the ribs. And exhaling, tucking those low ribs. Let's come back up nice and slow as we inhale. Return to your tabletop position. And then we'll again just sort of walk the hands back, sink the hips back, come into a kneeling pose. You can first start by bringing your hips towards your heels, and eventually sitting up, lifting tall and extending fully. So you're on your knees, but nice and straight with the torso. Let's take a deep breath, reach the arms up. This time bring the arms down behind your back to meet. And you'll just kind of cross your fingers, make a fist. Pull your knuckles down away from your head. Drop the shoulders down the spine. Inhale. Maybe let your gaze travel up nice and slow, just gently. And then exhale, release the arms. Maybe shrug your shoulders out a little bit. And we'll do that same sequence we just did on the other side. So we're gonna go ahead and bring your left foot to plant in front of you. Keep the right knee on the ground. Nice and strong in the thighs here. Bring your fingertips outside the left foot. You can extend that back knee as far back as you'd like. Extend the toes long. Ooh, got some pops going on as I get into this pose. That might happen to you as well. Let's take some nice deep breaths. Remember, just taking note of what's happening. And if you feel any judgment about whether you should go farther into a pose or whether you think you should do more, just try and relax a bit. Ease into it, pull back, do what feels good for your body. Remember that there is no good or bad in yoga. Let's go ahead and lift up, take a deep breath. Lift the arms up, ground through the left foot, right leg. Tucking those low ribs as you exhale to keep the spine nice and long. And then you can keep your arms high or drop your arms by your sides. Maybe bring your hands to your hips as we sink the hips back. Extend the left leg. Flex the foot. Again, if you have those props, you can bring them on either side of your leg. Bring your hands to the mat or to your blocks. Up on fingertips if you want. Press the top of your right foot into the mat. Breathe deep, extend your spine. Crown of the head is going to reach towards the front of your room, flexing the left foot. Exhale and try to relax a part of your face, maybe your shoulders, something in the middle of your body. Just breathing in and relaxing into whatever you feel. And then we'll kind of rotate forward, bringing the weight back onto the left foot. Planting the palms on either side of the foot, and then we'll bring the knees back together. Again, into our tabletop. And this time, again, threading the needle on the opposite side. So we'll ground through the left hand. Press that hand into the earth. Equal weight in both knees. Try to keep your hips level, spine neutral. Breathe in and draw the right hand up across your body. Reach the fingertips up towards the sky. Staying active in the legs, active in the mid-body. And then exhale, let's bring that arm down. Hand goes underneath the left arm. Shoulder drops to the earth. Hips stay high. Squeeze the thighs in together. That might help with keeping you stable here. Deep breath. Exhale by contracting your lungs. Inhale by expanding. One more big breath here, and then exhale, slowly unwind. We'll come back up into our tabletop. Plant the hands, strong in the legs. See if you can bring your spine to a neutral position. Breathe in, extend the crown of your head, and exhale. Slowly sink the hips back to find the heels, going into a child's pose. We'll just rest the hips on the heels, extend long with the arms, rest the forehead on the mat. Just take a couple deep breaths here.
after those big stretches and twists. You may feel a little energy flowing, a little heat. Just again, take note and try to do so without passing any judgment.
Let's go ahead and breathe in, come back up through tabletop. And then keep the hands planted nice and firm. We're going to extend one foot and then the other nice and long. Head into plank pose for a moment. Neutral spine here, keeping the neck long. Breathing into the belly. Tuck the low ribs, exhale, and slowly lower to the mat. And then we'll extend the toes, slowly press up from the earth with the hands, lift the shoulders and the head. Cobra pose. Stay active in the feet here, exhale, and we'll flip the toes over. Lift back up through and then bring the hips up. And quickly just moving in through a downward dog so that we can transition into some standing poses. And just hit this downward dog real quick. Plant the hands nice and heavy in the heels. And then just slowly, very gently walk your feet up to your hands. One tiny little step at a time. Come up onto the fingertips. And then as you get your feet planted here, slowly roll up with the torso into a mountain pose. Eventually letting your shoulders just travel down your back, opening the palms towards the front of the room. Take a nice big breath, sort of ground here. Breathe in and exhale. Feel the feet, feel the earth beneath your feet. As you breathe. And again, just nice and relaxed in the body. Take note of whatever you feel. Make any adjustment you need to be more comfortable. And remember that everything you do, as long as you're working on your body, is fantastic. Working on your body and working with your body. So from this standing mountain pose, let's go ahead and stand up tall, take a deep breath in, reach the arms up. And we'll step the right foot forward. Keep the left foot behind you. And turn the left foot to about a 45-degree angle. So we're beginning this part in Warrior One pose, which means our back leg is a 45-degree, front leg pointing forward. Reaching up with the arms as we inhale. And then you can bring your arms to your hips, hands to the hips for now. Rotate the hips forward so you're trying to keep them nice and square. Breathe in one more time here. And then let's open up to the left side, heading into Warrior Two. So we open that back foot, toes point towards the side of the mat. Breathe in, reach the arms out to either side. Gonna head into a reverse warrior right away. So we're inhaling, flipping the front palm. And then reaching up and up and up all the way until we start to rotate back, straighten the front knee a little bit. And then reach up and over our head with the right palm. Wrap that pinky down towards the mat. That's going to help with keeping a nice straight angle in the arm. And then we'll come back through, bend the front knee, rotate that front arm. And we'll bring the arm down onto your leg, reaching up with the back arm now. And all the way through, up and over the head for extended side angle pose. So breathe in nice and deep here. And we're going to bring it back up and through as we exhale to Warrior Two. Then flipping the front palm, reaching up and over. Inhale, nice and slow. Bringing the left hand to the back of the left leg. And again, rotating through your warrior two, staying with your breath. And then bringing the right arm down to the right leg, reaching forward, up and over with the left arm. Here, imagine you could draw a line of energy from your left ankle to your left fingertips. And try and breathe into that. And then if you do have blocks, this is a great time to grab one of those, bring it to the outside of your right foot. We have a couple options here. You can bring your right hand down on the inside of your right foot to go a little farther into extended side angle pose. Or bring your hand to that block, start to slowly lift up onto the front foot and lift the back leg up off the ground into a half moon pose. Now this is one that you definitely could benefit from having a block with. Breathe in, just finding your balance in the right leg here. And then slowly, with control, drop that back leg back down. Warrior two, legs coming up with the arms. Extend the arms to both sides. Take a nice deep breath. And then we'll rotate that back leg forward. Rotate your whole body forward. This time heading into a high crescent lunge. So the hips are pointing forward. Everything is looking the same direction. You can lift the back heel a bit. Soft bend in both knees. Reach up, breathe in. Sink down a little bit more so you have about a 90-degree angle in the front knee. And then exhale, push up with that back leg and back into mountain pose. It's a nice, powerful transition there when you just kind of step back up into mountain pose, pushing off your back leg. I like that. All right, let's move back onto our other sides. If you need to reorient on your mat, maybe step back towards the middle of it if you ended up towards the front or back so you have some space. Return to our mountain pose, hands to either side of the body. Breathe in. And exhale. Just recentering, regrounding as we head into this next flow. Reach the arms up. And this time we'll have the left foot forward. So you can just step that left foot forward. Maybe bring your hands to the hips right away. Right foot behind you at a 45-degree angle. And turning the hips open into warrior one. All right, take a nice deep breath. Extend up to the ceiling here with the top of your head. Exhale, relax your ears, relax your face. Strong legs. And then we'll open up to your right side. So that back leg is now pointing towards the side of the mat. Front leg is pointing towards the front of the mat. And go ahead and extend both arms to either side. Take a nice deep breath. Flip the front palm. Slowly reaching up and over the head, straightening the front leg. Extension in the left side body. Reaching the fingertips up to the sky, dropping the other hand to the back leg. And come back through the other way. Flipping the right palm up towards the sky, all the way up and over, till your forearm comes to your leg. Extended side angle pose. And then we'll breathe in, transition back through that warrior two. Flip the front palm, reach up and over your head, maybe on a big inhale. Right hand to the back of the right leg. And then let's exhale and come nice and slow through the other way. So your palms, back palm flips open and reaches up towards the sky. All the way until we come back into that extended side angle pose. Let's breathe here. Breathe into the right side body. Exhale. And if you have your block, we'll bring that to the outside of the left foot. And we have two options. You can drop that left arm down your leg and start to come into a little bit of a lower extended side angle, wrapping the pinky up and over your head. Bring your block to the outside of your foot. Shift the weight onto the front leg. And slowly bring the back leg up and extend it behind you. Half moon pose. Breathe in nice and deep here. And just finding your balance a little bit. Exhaling slowly. Helps to find a point to just keep your gaze on in front of you. And one more big breath in. And with control, we'll drop the back leg. Dropping back into your warrior two legs. Planting both feet. Lifting up with the arms to either side. Big breath in, a nice audible breath out. And then we'll rotate back towards the front. Rotate both feet to point towards the front. Lift the back heel a little bit. Front knee bent at about 90 degrees. High crescent. Reach the arms up, breathe in. On the exhale, push up off the back leg and come back into mountain. And let's drop the arms back down to your sides. Open towards the front of the room. Just taking some nice deep breaths in here. Plant your feet, spread the toes. Notice how stable you feel standing up on your feet. And again, no judgment. If you feel like maybe you're shifting a little more weight onto one leg or the other, maybe that's just where you're at today. And that's totally fine. Let's breathe in, reach the fingertips up. Big arms as if you were holding a giant ball between your hands so you keep some space between the shoulders. Palms face each other. Let's inhale here. Expand your belly and ribs. Exhale and slowly just hinge from the waist. So you're just dropping your torso straight down towards the ground into a forward fold. Just let your fingertips release to the earth, whether they're hanging out on the ground, in the air, or if you bring those blocks underneath your hands, to just bring your fingertips there. Stay active in the feet here, soft bend in the knees. Inhale and lift up halfway, so you're sort of straightening the back out. Bringing the fingertips up on the legs. And then exhale, drop back down into your forward fold. And once more, we're gonna slowly halfway lift up. Inhale. And exhale slowly with control. Drop back down. Bring your fingertips to the mat. Generously bend your knees, and we're gonna walk the hands forward. Again, heading through a downward dog pose to find our way now onto the mat again. So just step those legs back, plant the hands, wide shoulders, lots of space between those shoulder blades. Spread your fingers. Inhale all the way down to your belly button here. Exhale, contract your lungs to release that air. And we're gonna walk our way into a table pose. So you can just drop your knees nice and slow. Returning to our tabletop. Fingers are spread and planted on the earth. Maybe stretching those feet, rotating the ankles out a little bit if you need to here. And we're just gonna gently press back, make our way back into that kneeling pose. can first maybe sort of sit on your hips, hips on the heels, as we find our way here. And then extend the torso up tall. Nice and strong legs. Breathe in, reach the arms up. And exhale, arms drop down to meet behind the back. Just a soft back bend here. So you cross the fingers, make a fist with your palms, drop the shoulders down. Just gently look up towards the sky. You'll feel a little bit of a back bend. Breathe in here. And exhale, release the hands. And we'll go ahead and come back down to the mat. Swing your legs to one side and find a seated position here. So we're actually going to kind of spread your legs to a wide-legged position here. So a wide-legged seat. If you want to just find whatever feels good for you in that way. Again, if you don't want to sit with your legs that much space between them, you can just sit nice and comfortably. Or you can sit in a chair, up on a block. We're just going to do a seated wide-legged forward fold here. So the first thing we'll do again is always find your kind of grounded sitting position. Always take a second to find your stance. Sit up tall, breathing into the low belly. Maybe reach the arms up to prep here. Just getting that big breath in, finding some expansion. And then slowly folding forward. So this is a wide-legged forward fold.
And bring the hands wherever they feel comfortable down on the mat. Again, this would be a great opportunity to grab your blocks and just put those in front of you to rest your hands on. Wherever you end up here, just taking deep, relaxing breaths. Releasing your neck, making space in the back. Taking note of whatever you're feeling and trying to remember that none of it is good or bad. And let's take one more deep breath in. And then sit up nice and tall.
Slowly bring the hands back up. And then what we can do here is just sort of bring the feet together. Spread your knees open wide. Bottoms of the feet meet together. And this would be butterfly legs, seated butterfly legs. And we can practice this butterfly legs in a couple of different poses, but I like to introduce it here to have it as an option for later when we're resting. You can maybe just bring your hands to either foot, sit up tall, relax your legs as much as you can, staying active in your sit bones, so that's sort of around your glute area. Just really pressing up and away from the earth, breathing in nice and slow. And then exhale. We're going to turn again long ways on your mat. Extend the legs and just slowly walk your way down to your back. So we're lying down in a supine position. Finishing out here. Oops. We can start in a constructive rest pose. So that means your knees are up high, feet are on the mat. We're just dropping the arms to both sides. Taking a moment to rest here, relax the shoulders into the mat. And then what I want you to do is just plant the left foot, slowly lift the right knee. You're going to cross your right ankle over the left thigh. This is called a figure 4 pose. So we're doing a supine, lying down, figure 4 pose. stay with your breath here. So take a nice deep inhale. Reach the arms around the left thigh and just slowly lift that left foot up off the mat. We don't need to pull the left thigh with the hands. Just sort of grab onto the left thigh. As much as you can, relax the tailbone down onto the mat. Breathe in deep here. Just holding on to that left thigh, opening the right hip. Exhaling and inhaling nice and slow. And we'll release the leg. Let the foot find its way back to the mat. And then unwind that right leg. Right foot comes back down to the mat as well. Breathe into the belly button. Plant the right foot, lift the left knee. So this time we're crossing the left ankle over the right leg. Breathing into the torso, expanding on all directions. And slowly lifting the right foot off the mat. And just interlacing the fingers around that right thigh. Tailbone releases down to the mat. Deep breaths. And exhale. Just really breathing into that left hip. Active in both feet. Breathing in this figure four pose. Maybe as you exhale, you try to relax the muscles in your face or release your shoulders to the mat. One more big breath here. And we'll exhale, release the leg, drop that foot back to the mat nice and slow. Then return both legs down to the mat. So we're coming back to our constructive rest pose. And final kind of position that we want to do here, we're going to start to just slowly let your legs fall from one side to the other. Like windshield wipers, staying with your breath. And then next time as they start to fall towards the right, just let your knees fall all the way down. Maybe you can lift your hips and shift slightly over to the left with the hips to bring your right knee closer to the earth. Just release that knee, both knees towards the right side of your body. And we'll extend your arms out to either side, straight out from your body. Spread the palms. And breathe into the left side body. Exhaling to relax and release. This is a supine twist. It's great for releasing the spine. Even releasing the shoulders a little bit. If you want to feel a bit more in the neck and shoulders, you can let your gaze fall open to the left side. Maybe looking at the left fingertips. Breathing all the way down to your belly button. And exhaling nice and slow. And then just take your time, bring your gaze back up to the ceiling. Bring your knees back up. Recenter your hips. Keep breathing. Windshield wiper those legs a little bit more from one side and then the other. And then we'll just go ahead and bring the knees all the way to the left side. Dropping down to the earth. Maybe shifting the hips over to the right. Give your body a bit more space to twist. And then dropping the knees to the left side on the mat. Both arms are extended. Nice and relaxed in the fingers and the arms here. You can keep your gaze up on the sky. Or let your eyes and your head fall over to the right side. Bring your gaze to the right fingertips. And breathing in. Nice and relaxed exhale. Let your breath travel all the way down, filling up the right side of your body. Exhale, and we're going to slowly, just at your own pace, come back through to center with the knees and the eyes. Plant the feet, and here you can return to a constructive rest pose, or find your way to whatever your version of a final resting pose is. So we want the hands to just rest somewhere below heart level. And then either extending the legs long, maybe putting a pillow or a block beneath the knees to bring some height. Can head back into those butterfly legs we did earlier. If you want to open up the hips and the psoas, bring the soles of the feet together. Just maybe focus your attention on the breathing. Or another great option is to just stay in constructive rest with the feet planted, knees high. Tailbones just kisses the mat here. Maybe letting the knees fall into center just to kind of support each other. And we'll just bring your awareness back to the breath as we enter our final resting pose, whatever that means for you. And maybe just reflect on what you felt today during your practice. Bringing nice slow breaths into your lungs, letting them just gently release from your body. We talked about approaching today's practice with loving compassion and non-judgment. Sometimes that can be difficult, but it's so helpful to be able to reflect from a place of kindness. In the yoga teachings, they talk about viewing things as if you were from outside of yourself. That can come across kind of strange sometimes. But in reality, what it boils down to in the meaning is being able to move through a situation, honor your feelings, honor what's truly happening around you, and not reflect any good or bad on the situation at hand. Just experiencing it in the moment, exactly as it is. Practicing awareness and acceptance and loving compassion. So bring your breath nice and deep. And if you can, if you'd like, just reflect back on your practice today. Try to identify any of those perceptions. And just tell your brain that whatever you thought was bad or good or should have been different, just tell your brain that it was okay and that you're doing great. And if you don't want to do that, you're welcome to just reflect and breathe and take these last few moments to just feel into your body. Connect to your breath. And I'll give you just a moment or two of silence, and then we'll come back to end our practice together. Stay nice and tuned in with your breath. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Maybe wiggle your toes and fingers. And slowly, whenever you feel ready, if you had the eyes closed, you can start to flutter your eyelids open. And remember that everything you did today was fantastic. You came, you took the time, and you focused on your body. And even when we experience sensation when working with the body, it's important to remember that that's not necessarily good or bad. It's just the body talking to us. Just the body letting us know what it needs. So as we close today's practice, I'd like to just take a couple seconds wherever you're at. You're welcome to remain lying down or sit up and find a seated position. Just take a nice deep breath. And I would love for you if you could walk away from today finding some ways to practice loving compassion towards yourself and your own life, towards situations that you might find difficult, people that you might find a challenge to interact with. Remember again that we are all just doing our best at every moment of every day, including you. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Let's take a nice deep breath together. End with an Om. Thank you for your time. Have a beautiful day. All right, I'm gonna come back over here, put my headphones back on, and turn these lights off. Once I get close to the lights, they really just make my face